thing with Khamzat too is after, again, you could chalk it up to the weight cut. That second round, when he doesn't land that takedown and falls to his back, I'm like, oh, he's cooked.
Dude, I think
we're
his
6 months into the
body was
motherfucking fight, and you're cooked.
His body was shutting down, and he realized that he went real hard in the first round, but doesn't have the gas tank. He said, let me coast. I can survive on the bottom here, but I need to catch my breath if I'm going to try to finish this guy. Might have been a strategy.
And he got better that third, fourth, fifth round.
Right, because the strategy might have been, listen, if I'm on my back, no big, like he tries for a takedown, can't get it. He realized, like, oh, Jesus, I'm not going to be able to fight standing up like this for 5 minutes after that first round. Because his body almost shut down 24 hours ago. 24 hours ago, it is the dumbest fucking thing we do in the sport where we allow these people to pretend that they weigh a certain way. Mm-hmm. You pretend, oh, it's a 185-pound fight. The fuck it is.
Yeah, both
Neither
those
one of
boys
those
over
guys.
200.
100%.
And Strickland is actually a bigger guy than him.
Strickland's a big boy.
Strickland that night in the cage is bigger. He's a wild boy.
He's a wild boy. So they gave him like a 8-month suspension, something like that, 6-month suspension, whatever it was. So you see him against Hernandez where he's perfect, and he looks fucking phenomenal.
Best I've ever seen.
His striking looked phenomenal. Everything looked phenomenal. And I'm like, oh God, he looks like a better version of the guy who beat Izzy. He looked better.
Best we've ever seen.
And then he beats Khamzat with one shoulder. And so if you count him out based on that fight, where I thought Khamzat won, a lot of people did. Look, it's a lot of people that know fighting thought Khamzat won. There's a lot. I think it's split among journalists. I think I was reading something.
They go easy on journalists.
I don't really read anything, by the way. I really read the headlines and then I move on.
You gotta be careful with journalists. I'll listen to former fighters or people that have been around the game a long, long time. If you have Khamzat winning, yeah, okay. Nobody was robbed. I can give you a pretty good argument why Strickland won that fight.
Yes,
you know, I can give you a damn good argument.
This was a big moment where Sean Strickland stuffed Khamzat's takedown. Khamzat didn't even reshoot. He didn't re-wrestle. He went to his back. That was a huge moment. And Strickland's gonna come out and pop him with jabs. Look at this. He's gonna start popping him with jabs. It's crazy, and then DDP beat Strickland. Styles are crazy, bro. Bro, Strickland's style is just wild to me. It looks like you're easy to hit, but he's so hard to hit. He's so confident in that little bubble. Wow. These big kicks from Khamzat are just, dude, you have 15 minutes throwing these big body kicks. Oh, Strickland's landed some big shots. 3 minutes left in this third round. Khamzat hasn't done really anything. Bro, if this is the pace, the next 15 minutes, next 12 minutes, whatever, Strickland wins these 10 out of 10 times. Gained a lot of respect for Sean Strickland right now. Holy shit. He might be my favorite fighter. He's my favorite fighter. All right, round 4, here we go. It's 2-1. Strickland up against Khamzat going into the fourth. Who would have thunk? Khamzat doesn't look terrible, but it's like this isn't the way to beat Sean against.
The more fighters and analysts continue breaking down the brutal war between Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland, the more insane the fight actually starts to look. What originally seemed like a simple debate over who won has now evolved into one of the most controversial and deeply analyzed middleweight battles in recent MMA history. Joe Rogan, Michael Bisping, Chael Sonnen, Demetrius Johnson, and several other respected voices in the sport all came away with completely different conclusions about what truly happened inside that cage. Some believed Khamzat's early wrestling dominance secured him the victory, while others argued Sean Strickland's.
Yeah, he's always going after you in the final round. Like the final round with Izzy, when he's got his hands down, he's screaming at Izzy, "Come on!"
He looks better. Yeah, he gets better as the fight goes on.
Yeah, and Izzy had noticeably faded by that final round. Part of that because of the beating that he took in the first.
Correct.
Right. I mean, he got
dropped too.
Super close to stopped, probably concussed in the first. You know, I mean, that fucking straight punch that he landed where he spun Izzy's head around and then hit him with how many fucking left hands in a row?
Yep.
15, 20 left hands in a row? I mean,
up.
let's count them.
Yeah.
Let's watch that and count them because it's crazy. He just bang, 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 bang. If you think you're going to go and just fight normal after that,
it's not happening.
You're concussed.
You're compromised.
Probably you have a concussion.
Yes.
Just by the way he went down, his head spun around. It was a right hand, right? Wasn't it a right hand?
It was a right hand, yeah, and it spun
picture
around,
perfect
and then
right
he's
hand.
just, wow.
Picture perfect straight right. I mean, it was picture perfect. And you don't get a cleaner, better right hand. And then blast him with all those punches in the clinch. You're gone after that. You're a shell of yourself.
You're gone. I think my
Pressure, cardio, damage, and late-round momentum completely shifted the fight in his favor. But beyond the scorecards and the official result, what really captured everyone's attention was how dramatically the fight changed once Khamzat started slowing down. Rogan immediately pointed to the moment in the second round where Khamzat failed on a takedown attempt and suddenly dropped to his back. To Rogan, that moment was massive because it looked like Chimaev's body was beginning to shut down in real time. Rogan explained that Khamzat likely exploded too hard in the opening round trying to overwhelm Strickland early and then realized he didn't have the gas tank to sustain that pace for 5 rounds.
The Joe Rogan experience.
I was nut riding for Strickland the whole time. I was like, that guy is the fucking captain of the deep water. He knows how to go into deep water, man, and he knows how to survive. He can survive. And the thing about Khamzat is, if he takes you down, he wants to hold you down and just beat on you and not expand a lot of energy like he did with Drekus.
That's an issue.
You can't do that with Sean. Sean is not going to sit still. He's very hard to hold down. He's got super underrated grappling. Super underrated. You know, we saw he almost threw Khamzat, like later in the fight, you know, and he did wind up on top multiple times. Like, he ain't easy for anybody.
Far from it.
And he had a blown out shoulder.
Boom. That's the other thing. Everyone's like, well, you know, Khamzat was compromised because the weight cut. It's like, well, hold on.
Sean had one arm.
Sean had one fucking arm. And when he did throw that right hand in that second round, he wobbled Khamzat. No one wants to talk about that. The most significant punch was in the second round.
Yeah.
He flash knocks out Khamzat, and Khamzat's like, oh,
and he probably fucking jolted his shoulder with pain.
And still defended it.
Noticed he was doing this at the beginning of the fight.
According to Rogan, the decision to stay on his back may not have been panic, but survival. He believed Khamzat understood that if he forced himself into extended striking exchanges while exhausted, Strickland's relentless pressure would eventually drown him. That observation completely changed how many fans viewed the fight because suddenly Khamzat's grappling-heavy strategy looked less like domination and more like energy management. Rogan repeatedly emphasized how brutal weight cutting has become.
Second fight with DDP, he fucked his shoulder up too. Driving a dirt bike like a fucking psychopath.
Crazy.
Crashed his dirt bike, fucked his shoulder up, and they told him he had to fight. So he had to take the fight. So he had to take the fight with a fucked up shoulder. And one of the things you notice about when he's throwing right hands, in particular in this fight, I noticed they were awkward sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes they just looked weird. Like he was trying not to use his shoulder or something.
He's compromised.
Yes, 100%. And I saw some of that in the second second DDP fight. You know, where it looked like he was kind of throwing his punches weird. You know, which sometimes he does anyway because he goes around the guard.
It's awkward.
It's strategic.
Yeah.
He's throwing shit that you're not going to block correctly, and then he's going to land you clean shots. But when you see him when there's nothing wrong with him, like he had this giant break because he punched somebody in some fucking low-level promotion.
Oh,
right?
that's right.
Got in a cage and punched somebody.
Yeah.
So so they gave him.
He's a wild boy.
He's a wild boy. So they gave him like a 8-month suspension, something like that, 6-month suspension, whatever it was. So you see him against Hernandez where he's perfect, and he looks fucking phenomenal.
Best I've ever seen.
His striking looked phenomenal. Everything looked phenomenal. And I'm like, oh God, he looks like a better version of the guy who beat Izzy. He looked better.
Best we've ever seen.
And then he beats Khamzat.
Come in MMA, calling it one of the dumbest traditions still allowed in combat sports. He argued that fighters aren't truly competing at their official weight classes anymore because the actual fight night size difference can be enormous. Sean Strickland, despite competing at middleweight, reportedly entered the cage looking physically bigger than Khamzat, which shocked many people considering Chimaev's reputation for overwhelming opponents with sheer physicality. Rogan suggested that Khamzat's difficult weight cut may have directly contributed to the exhaustion fans witness.
What is it? It's 2.2. Okay, so
but
somewhere
I think
around.
he was 230.
That's a lot, though.
That's
if you're
a lot of
already
weight.
dying, you got to lose 2 pounds of water.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
2 16-ounce bottles of water.
But when he was, let's say, 230 or maybe 235, how many weeks out was that? Do we know?
I don't know.
Because when Strickland beat Fluffy, they were like, hey, forget this Yuri fight. You're fighting at 85. It's a few months.
It's a few months, but when you have muscle and not fat, it is a problem. It's a real problem. It's not the same problem. So if you get big like Strickland gets in between fights, like Strickland, there's a lot of videos of him training where he's got almost like a belly.
Yeah.
He's heavy.
Yeah.
He makes fun of himself. He's fat. Yeah. That's a different fat. That's different
Agreed.
to lose.
It's
You
not
can lose
muscle.
that. You can lose that. That's not a problem to lose. When you're bulked up, your body has decided that now you're 230 pounds and you're still working out all the time. So your body's using those muscles all the time. So if you want those muscles to shrink, they literally have to eat themselves.
Yeah.
So you have to fucking starve yourself. Or you do a radical dehydration, which brings you to the brink of death.
That's what.
And it seems like
later in the fight. According to discussions surrounding the camp, Chimaev had bulked up significantly during preparation, possibly weighing over 230 pounds before eventually forcing himself back down to middleweight. Rogan and Bisping both described how dangerous extreme muscle cuts can become because muscle tissue is far harder to dehydrate compared to body fat. Unlike fighters who gain softer weight between bouts, heavily muscled athletes often push their bodies into dangerous territory when trying to shed massive amounts quickly.
Yeah.
He's always going after you in the final round. Like the final round with Izzy, when he's got his hands down, he's screaming at Izzy, "Come on!"
He looks better. Yeah, he gets better as the fight goes on.
Yeah, and Izzy had noticeably faded by that final round. Part of that because of the beating that he took in the first.
Correct.
Right. I mean, he got
dropped too.
Super close to stopped, probably concussed in the first. You know, I mean, that fucking straight punch that he landed where he spun Izzy's head around and then hit him with how many fucking left hands in a row?
Yep.
15, 20 left hands in a row? I mean,
let's
count them.
Yeah.
Let's watch that and count them because it's crazy. He just bang, 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 bang. If you think you're going to go and just fight normal after that,
it's not happening.
You're concussed.
You're compromised.
Probably you have a concussion.
Yes.
Just by the way he went down, his head spun around, was a right hand, right? Wasn't it a right hand?
It was a right hand, yeah, and it spun
picture
around,
perfect
and then
right
it's
hand.
just, wow.
Picture perfect straight right. I mean, it was picture perfect. And you don't get a cleaner, better right hand. And then blast him with all those punches in the clinch. You're gone after that. You're a shell of yourself.
You're gone. I think my
competition, pushing his body beyond the point of diminishing returns. According to Johnson, there comes a stage where overtraining hurts cardio more than it helps because the body can only absorb so much punishment before performance suffers. That theory resonated with many fans because Khamzat has built a reputation for brutal gym sessions and non-stop intensity during training camps. Yet what made the fight truly unforgettable wasn't simply Khamzat fading. It was Sean Strickland's incredible ability to become stronger as the fight continued. Joe Rogan repeatedly praised Strickland's conditioning, calling him the captain of deep waters because of how dangerous he becomes once opponents get tired. Rogan highlighted how Sean consistently pressures fighters late into bouts, taunting them, talking to them, and forcing uncomfortable exchanges while maintaining relentless forward pressure. He compared it to Strickland's performance against Israel Adesanya, where Sean appeared to gain confidence and momentum as the fight progressed while Izzy visibly slowed down after taking heavy damage early. Rogan described the clean right hand Strickland landed against Adesanya as one of the most devastating punches of Sean's career, explaining how difficult it becomes for any fighter to recover fully after suffering that level of concussion damage. Those observations fed directly into the debate surrounding Strickland's overall toughness and durability. Rogan argued that Sean's style looks deceptively simple from the outside, yet almost nobody can deal with it comfortably inside the cage. Fighters think they can hit him because of his upright stance and unusual defensive shell, but once the fight starts, they discover how difficult he is to control. Rogan praised Strickland's underrated grappling repeatedly, emphasizing that Sean refused to stay pinned down for long periods and even reversed positions multiple times later in the fight. One of the biggest talking points became the fact that Strickland allegedly fought Khamzat with a severely compromised shoulder. Rogan pointed out that Sean's right hand looked awkward throughout parts of the bout, almost as if he was consciously avoiding certain movements to protect the injury. According to discussions on the podcast, Strickland had damaged the shoulder in a dirt bike accident before the fight yet still accepted the matchup. Rogan argued that many fans focused exclusively on Khamzat's weight cut struggles while ignoring that Sean essentially competed with one functional arm. Even with the injury, Strickland reportedly managed to wobble Chimaev badly during one exchange, a moment Rogan considered among the most significant strikes landed in the entire fight. That added another layer to the argument because it suggested Sean may have performed far below full health while still surviving Khamzat's dangerous wrestling attack. As the final rounds unfolded, social media exploded with divided opinions. Some viewers scored the fight for Chimaev based on his early control and takedowns. Others believed Strickland's pressure, defense, and late momentum clearly deserved the victory. Journalists, fighters, coaches, and analysts all seemed split directly down the middle. Rogan admitted he personally leaned toward Strickland because of Sean's ability to survive the worst moments and continue pushing forward. What fascinated fans most was how unpredictable the momentum swings became. Early in the fight, it looked like Khamzat might completely overwhelm Sean physically. Yet by the championship rounds, Strickland appeared fresher, sharper, and increasingly confident, while Chimaev looked exhausted and frustrated. The contrast created one of the most dramatic momentum shifts seen in recent UFC title fights. The fight also reignited larger debates about weight cutting, cardio management, wrestling heavy game plans, and the importance of championship endurance in MMA. Many analysts argued that Khamzat's aggressive style works perfectly in shorter bursts but becomes difficult to sustain over 5 grueling rounds against elite opposition. Others defended him by pointing out that very few fighters survive his early pressure at all. Strickland's performance forced people to re-evaluate both men entirely. Chimaev proved he could still dominate elite opponents early, but questions about his cardio and long-term pacing suddenly became louder than ever. Meanwhile, Sean gained enormous respect for surviving the wrestling storm and continuing to pressure forward despite injuries and adversity. Even fans who believed Chimaev technically won admitted that Strickland's toughness bordered on unbelievable. In many ways, the fight became less about who officially won and more about the insane level of heart displayed by both men. Khamzat fought through exhaustion, dangerous weight cut conditions, and mounting pressure, while Strickland battled through takedowns, injuries, and constant physical attacks without breaking mentally. By the final bell, both fighters had elevated their reputations regardless of the official decision. The aftermath turned social media into complete chaos as debates spread across every platform imaginable. Some fans called it robbery. Others called it a masterpiece of pressure fighting. Analysts